Es ist unsere Verpflichtung, jede Form von Elend zu
It is our duty to conquer every form of poverty,
Gott in allen Menschen lebt.
because God is present in all of humankind.
Nächstenliebe ist kein soziales
To love one's neighbour is
Programm,
not a social agenda,
sondern ein Ausdruck dieser lebendigen
but rather the
Einheit
expression of our living
von
unity
allen
in Christ.
Christus.
Today we are working for Osteuropa Hilfe, which helps other people, and we're going to unload this truck.
Ich komme hier helfen.
I come here to help,
Nur helfen.
just to help.
Ich mag helfen beim
I like to help because this work makes it possible to send all of this to other countries.
In
1981, when I was a bit over 30, I prayed and did a novena to Mary, the Mother of God, to ask, where does Jesus want me to be a missionary?
I
had always wanted to be a priest. A month later, I opened the Bible, the Old Testament, and my finger stopped at the following verse. Now I am sending you to Russia. You will feed my people with milk and honey. I was so terrified I closed the Bible and said, I will go anywhere, but please not Russia.
It was so foreign to me.
I had read a lot about the gulags, the persecution. It was simply unknown to me. I said to myself, how could I go there? I don't like snow or ice. I always wanted to go somewhere in Latin America or in Africa, near the sea, where there are joyful and happy people. So I prayed for 20 minutes, and I said to the Mother of God, I understand, this is my path. If you wish it, I shall go to Russia on one condition, that you give me a love for the Russian people, because I did not have that love. And how could I go there as a missionary without love? She replied very quickly.
I
looked for that passage again, saying to myself, Russia, that word does not exist in the Bible. I read it again, and it was written, I send you to the peoples of the East. But I had understood Russia. I still wanted to go on mission. Switzerland was too narrow a vision for me. I'd always been attracted by far horizons among other peoples. 1984 was the year of Pope John Paul II's consecration of the world, and particularly of Russia. This was a clear sign to me. Now comes the time when Russia will open up.
During that same year, Father Rolf accompanied a group of pilgrims from the West to visit the Soviet Union. They were overwhelmed by the poverty, and yet also impressed by the richness of the culture, touched particularly by the beauty of the Orthodox liturgy. Encouraged by more and more people, including his bishop, Father Rolf sent off the first truck of humanitarian aid to Russia. This was in 1992, just 3 years after the implosion of the Soviet Empire.
Once returned home, the pilgrims opened collection centres throughout Europe. We are still collecting that material aid. To date, we have sent a total of 2,400 truckloads. That is a considerable number. Of course, everything must be packed with love. That's the most important thing for me. It is not the quantity, but the quality that counts. Many believers of all denominations work for this with great love. That brings more blessing than the material aid in itself.
An immense chain of solidarity is taking shape. In 2017 alone, the association The Triumph of the Heart sent 151 truckloads to the Ukraine, Romania, Moldavia, Latvia, Lithuania, Bosnia, Serbia, and even shipments for Syria and Peru. Today, Father Rolf is accompanying a small group of pilgrims from Switzerland to help them discover the Ukraine, and some organizations founded and supported by the Triumph of the Heart. Brother Bruno is French. He spent a number of years in his youth living in the streets, living in poverty and treated with scorn. After a remarkable series of events, he became Father Rolf's right-hand man in 1992. The adventure began with a 3-month stay in Novoye in the region of Moscow.
For me, it was a shock. 30 seconds after getting off the train, I said, "Father Rolf, this is not my place." Then, with his little half-smile, he replied, "It will be your place." I cried for practically 2 weeks because I couldn't stand the poverty. It was truly horrendous.
He was making plans to return to France when a street child moved him deeply.
I was lying down, and he came and laid his head next to my heart. He turned his head, and I looked at him and said, "What do you want?" He replied, "Pomogina, help us." Later, the driver came to take me to Moscow to go to Father Rolf's apartment. And all the way, I heard that little voice, "Pomoginam, Ponoginam, help us, help us." After the meal that Father Rolf had prepared, again with his little half-smile, I said to him, "So you need a missionary?" He replied, "Yes, of course I need a missionary." "Well, I'm ready to be on mission with you." He replied, "I knew that I could count on you. I knew you would say yes." So that's how it started, with that little story.
So Brother Bruno founded a first house for street children in Novoye, sleeping in a tent himself throughout the first year. The house has been evolving ever since, and today hosts workshops, such as Cana sessions. It's a place that prioritizes times of training for couples and families. However, the success of the St. Joseph Family Center attracted support, but also opposition. Brother Bruno's visa was rejected for renewal, and he was forced to leave Russia. It took some time to get back on his feet, but in time, with the help of Father Rolf, he founded the Home of Mary in Kiev, in the Ukraine. In a village near the capital, they have established a haven of peace for the most needy children. Today, the house is run by Vitalik and Irina, who have 2 children of their own. This is the Home of Mary. Children in need come here. Children with no money, refugees from Lugansk, Donetsk, Mariupol. We organize workshops for them: cooking, dance, guitar lessons, singing, and computer skills, so that the children can learn to use social media. They also learn grammar. The children arrive by bus from Monday to Thursday. We feed them for free and give them food parcels every month. After eating, they go to the workshops of their choice. Father Rolf is passing through, accompanying some pilgrims. The show is for them. There are also free activities: outdoor games, football, volleyball, and biking when the weather is right. We have a place where the children can get to know different kinds of animals: peacocks, pheasants, chickens, and some very beautiful doves. We welcome all children in need.
This is my body, given for you. We photographed all the children in front of that cross. We also made an information card for each child, in order to know where they came from, what family they have, what they need. But many of them have lived in slums, and it shows. They have lived on the streets, and have slept who knows where.
Exploitation by gangs, drugs, and prostitution are a part of the everyday life for many of these children. Some have even been murdered because they wanted to break with their past and start a new life in the Home of Mary.
I'm very thankful to the benefactors who helped us reconstruct this mission, because we are not alone. There are so many people who are behind us and have helped us. Yes, there's always that bit of help which arrives at the right moment. And our grandmothers and our children lack nothing. It amazes me.
It's amazing how heaven works. What do? We say yes. I have understood that when God asks me something, the only thing to do is to say, yes, I'm ready. And it works. Because if we are not ready, Providence cannot act or cannot act as effectively. The only thing I do is to say, yes, I am ready to help you in this country. And that has worked for 25 years. I never have too much, I never have too little. Every month I can pay for everything we do, which is a lot of things for the moment. Thank you.
The aid has been gradually broadened to include the babushkas lost in the countryside. These are Brother Bruno's 50 grandmothers.
I don't need anything. I have everything I need. And as for my health, nobody can give me that.
He distributes the aid that comes from Europe fairly, and even gets hold of firewood for the harsh winters.
You need about 5 cubic meters of wood for each grandmother. But I can't do everything because there isn't enough money. So this is only for the poorest.
Brother Bruno also looks after 35 families in contact with social workers. He sees what's needed and targets help as necessary.
She is very happy living here. It has practically everything, so there's no need to shop. There's some chickens, some pigs. They have a little cow. So everything's fine. They try to live quite simply. The main thing is to have a roof over your head.
Brother Bruno is hoping to change the way people think. Where he passes, homes become warmer, more beautiful places. There's a very justifiable pride in these brave women, their husbands having, for the most part, deserted the home and fled their responsibilities.
Весна дарує квіти, а Богу всім спасіння, тому радіють діти у свято Воскресіння.
Я вот даже помню себя, вот у нас не было возможности, мы очень с бедной семьи, ну это, если бы увидели
I come from a very poor family. We had no food or clothes. When we arrived here, there was another manager, Stefan. But it's with Father Rolf that I really grew up. I worked more or less everywhere while here, doing my studies at the same time. I didn't stay on the streets. I didn't become a criminal. I became a real human being. I would like for people to understand that giving a little help to a child can make a real adult of them.
The Orthodox Christians are celebrating Easter. Father Rolf invites the little group of pilgrims to celebrate the Divine Liturgy at the Cathedral of St. Vladimir. The Easter Vigil begins at the night in complete darkness, with all the candles extinguished, in order to journey to the inexpressible joy as depicted in the Paschal homily of St. John Chrysostom. Thousands of the worshippers exchange the greeting. Christ is risen. He's risen indeed. The Christians then go to Kiev Monastery of the Caves, founded in 1051 and listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In the catacombs lie the tombs of several saints, including Saint Anthony the Anthonite, father of Russian monasticism. Here, we are in an important place for Orthodox Christianity. Lent is a period of purification, when people prepare themselves. When Easter arrives, we are prepared internally to receive this grace, this joy, and this holiness. To live these events with Jesus, especially Holy Week with the Passion, the descent from the cross on Friday, and the silence of Holy Saturday. The times of prayer during these days are very profound, and they help the person to experience a resurrection in their soul.
We had begun to support Orthodox monasteries, and then I understood in prayer that I needed to bring relics for the Orthodox Church, because it is the saints of heaven who will bring unity. This is how we brought hundreds of relics that we received from priests, from monasteries, and also many from the Vatican, from Rome. It is I who officially pass on these relics, with the authorization of the Patriarch, so that after 1,000 years we can be reconciled, so that we can become once again one church, and so that we may no longer be in conflict. Jesus prayed for that, and this unity is going to be a reality. A lot depends on us. Are we ready or not? We all have the same God. For me, it makes no difference. Everyone chooses their own way. But we have to work in the direction that brings us to Jesus, the Savior of the world, not only with Catholics, but also with Protestants, because it's what they want. There is no peace in the world today. It is only in the Church of Christ that a real and true peace exists. When truth is absent, lies persist. This is why those who talk about peace but do not apply their own words must reflect. We have to reflect on true peace, and then the peace of God will come into our hearts, and we will find understanding of ourselves and of others.
Christ is risen. Happy feast day, my dears. A joyful Sunday. A great feast. Since the start of the 2014 Donbass War in southeastern Ukraine, more than 10,000 people have lost their lives. This pain is noticeable in liturgical times of prayer. It's visible in the streets, as demonstrated by the wall of photos near the Cathedral of St. Michael in the center of Kiev.
I would really like for peace to come, and for all hatred in our country and between our nations to disappear. I'd like for people to shine brighter, because all of this fighting is futile and worthless compared to life, to love, and to joy.
Maidan Square is a testimony to the revolution of February 2014. Footage shot by an amateur reveals that the weapons used to suppress the demonstration were made in Switzerland. 2 years prior, the Ukrainian government had made this investment in order to allow the riot police to ensure the security of the European Football Championship, jointly organized with Poland.
Of course, I don't like the fact that Switzerland is producing and selling arms. I experienced that in Kiev. I was astounded 4 years ago by how precise the weapons were. More than 80 people were shot by what I later learned were Swiss rifles. They are accurate at up to 1,500 meters. I thought it was not possible for a neutral country to produce weapons that end up aimed at people in public squares. I experienced that. I prefer to fight for peace. God would certainly provide opportunities for these factories to produce something else. The Swiss are very inventive. I think there's a lot of politics going on. Lobbying, power, and of course money, which we need, but this cannot be done at the cost of human lives.
At the end of the day, Brother Bruno hosted a barbecue. It was a chance to get to know some people from the village of Malarasha.
Whatever happens, I'll stay here. No one can make me go away. It's better that I die here. I couldn't stand going back home. This has been my mission for 25 years, and I will remain a missionary until the end.
Zu meinem 25-jährigen Priesterjubiläum durfte ich dann mit Papst Franziskus.
I had the joy of celebrating with Pope Francis for the celebration of my 25 years in priesthood. I was able to talk to him about the mission in these countries for the last 25 years. He was very joyful. He blessed my co-workers and the cross that he gave us as a present. He was deeply moved, and I even more so. I don't need any more confirmation for the next 20 years. I have received everything to be able to work. Heaven has given me such gifts and has accompanied me in the whole of this mission.
From Psalm 119. Remember your word to your servant, for you have given me hope. This is my comfort in my suffering. Lord, come and transform our hearts. Make us available to say yes to you. May the sharing of what we have and what we are open new paths of unity and peace in the heart of Europe as in the heart of the world.